I recently did a video talking about how Lucy Gray was singing a funeral song for her own death in the 10th Hunger Games. And this caused a smidgen of discourse in the comment section. There were some great questions and concerns within the comment section. And then of course there were some people just coming to be aggressive. Let's go with the positive first. I do believe that this song, The Old Therebefore, will be utilized in Sunrise on the Reaping. We of course get the scene where Burdock Everdeen is singing it at the funeral in District 12 at the very end of the book. But I think there are a few things to confirm that this is going to be included in the film. First, we have the trailer that was released in November. There is a scene that shows the number 3. As the trailer is counting down from 10 to 1, we see in the number 3 that there is someone who looks like Scott Greenan who's playing Burdock Everdeen, and they are holding up the 3-fingered salute, and around them there are more people doing that salute. I think that they're going to change the history of the salute within the film. They're going to make the gesture paying homage to the 3 district tributes that did not make it home. I think they're going to do this sign of respect either during or after Burdock singing it. Additionally, on Instagram, while this is not a firm confirmation, Scott Greenan himself did comment underneath my video and he put some eyeballs. So I think, he knows something, obviously. He played the part of Burdock. Now, I never usually do this, but to address some of the negativity, I do think it's fair that it isn't obvious right out the gate in Ballad that Lucy Gray is singing a funeral ballad. Now, I haven't gotten to that chapter on my reread of Sunrise, so I'm not sure that it specifically states that this is a funeral song, but of course Burdock does sing it during this moment. Maybe this is the moment that it becomes canon as a funeral song. The lyrics, of course, are insinuating that it is or would be appropriate to sing at a funeral because it is talking about death. In The Old Therebefore, the speaker or the narrator is talking about death. They're talking as if they're speaking to someone who has recently passed and that they're going to follow after. They talk about how they're on their way, they're not there yet, and that they have 1 foot on the threshold. When Lucy is singing this song, it doesn't make a lot of sense for her to be singing it about herself. I guess she does have 1 foot out the door, but she is speaking to someone who has already died. You're headed for heaven, not I'm headed for heaven. So it makes a lot of sense that originally when Lucy sings this in Ballad, it's not immediately connected to a funeral ceremony. At face value, it was a song about death. She was facing her death, and that's all that we really knew. The song builds to a triumphant and rebellious moment. She sings it, of course, in the film, directly at the camera. I love how that is executed. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be a funeral ceremony song. Sunrise, the context of the song makes a lot more sense because Burdock is singing it, you're headed for heaven, and I'll join you, and when I show up, I'll have so much to tell you. The song, it really fits better within this book, but I love that it's carried through both, and that the Covey tradition would be to play this at a funeral. Now, my brain starts to wonder, where did this song originate? How did it get its origin? Who was the first person to sing it? Of course, Suzanne Collins is very inspired by Appalachia, and the folk music inspires the Covey. So it makes a lot of sense if this is inspired by an Appalachian folk song, preferably one that would be sang at a funeral. I could find 2 that I thought maybe would directly kind of inspire this song, one of which I'm going to do a part 2 on. But the other is called Wayfair Stranger, and I think this one's really interesting because it deals with moving into the afterlife, finding peace at this other place and destination that you're headed to. And I love that Suzanne Collins could maybe tie back some of this song into actual Appalachia folk music. So now thinking about The Old Therebefore, I guess I have some lingering questions. When did Lucy Gray learn this song? Was it sang at her mother's funeral? Is Sunrise on the Reaping the last time anyone hears this song? Is Burdock's performance the final performance of The Old Therebefore? Because it doesn't seem as if anyone knows it moving into the original trilogy with Katniss. Does Haymitch remember the lyrics? Does he tell them to Katniss? Does she write it in the book? Does the song get a resurgence? I mean, I know at the end of Sunrise, we're looking at Haymitch's last days, months, years. He's talking about how he might not be long for this world. And I wonder if maybe he could remember the words. And then did somebody sing it when he passed?